We just saw a whip.
How's everybody doing? Good. We might be a little bit late getting back. Just a smidge. And now we wait. How are you today? Now, like I said before, this is the rotation we get with our gray whales, is that they'll come to the surface to catch their breath, and then they'll dive down and they'll feed on the ocean floor for a couple of minutes. Gray whales are benthic feeders, meaning they feed on the benthic layer or the ocean floor. There she is again, right about 6:30. I just saw a blow, and there's the baby. There she is, moving this way just a little bit. One of my other favorite things about her is that although her injury was sustained by a whaling boat, she's not boat shy whatsoever. She doesn't care if there's a boat there, and she's one of the few whales that will actually approach us. Now, we can only get within 100 yards of her, but if she wants to come closer, that's up to the whale. That's their personal space to do with as they want. If they want a boat in it, there's nothing we can do about it. So there she is, making a turn there. There's the calf. And down they go. Now, it's really important for her to be able to get as much food as possible. She needs about 2,000 pounds of seafood in her diet every day in order to be able to gain enough weight to make it through the following year. Because during the winter months, all of the gray whales migrate south to California for a fasting season where they go down for the breeding season and the calving season. They have a 13-month gestation period, so that's why they have a calf every other year and breed every other year as well. So that's just kind of how their rotation goes. So while they're down south for that, they don't eat anything, and they end up losing about 30% of that 80,000 pounds. So really just a lot of weight transition there from season to season. So it's really important for her. She's also giving that calf about 7 gallons of milk per feeding session. And because whales are marine mammals, which means they do produce milk for their babies, that's a lot of energy that she's giving just to her baby. So that's a lot. So that's another reason why we often get mothers and calves that stop off of Oregon, is because that is exhausting. I know many of you guys have traveled with children, and that's also exhausting, and they just don't want to do it anymore. So they get to Oregon and they're like, that's it. We're pulling over, we're having a lunch break. And they just stay here all summer long instead of continuing the migration to Alaska. Most of the gray whale population goes all the way to Alaska, and that's because there is more food there. In Alaska, you have longer days. The more sunshine hours you have, the more plant growth there will be. The more plants, the more animals, the more food. So most of the gray whales go to Alaska, but they do have to take more time to get there and more energy to get there, and many of the whales just don't have that. They don't have the energy. Either they didn't get enough food last year, or they've got a baby drinking off of them, or they're senior and just don't mature. There she is again, still in that same spot there, right about 6:15, straight off the back of the boat. And then we'll talk about the They're part of the experience. She's just giving us a great show there. She's just right below the surface coming up. You can see all the barnacles on her head and that big divot of her scar. That calf should be up any moment as well, although it might just be playing. They do that. Any species of animal you have, the babies, they'll wander off and they'll play. So sometimes it'll be, there it is right next to her. Going down. And there they go.